Okay, so this week we have a special extra segment from my Indian correspondent.
Yay!
Not a Native American.
No.
Actual from India. Yeah. Yes! And they're going to talk about Bollywood Indian remakes of sci-fi films. So check that out.
Hello there, I'm Nandini Krishnan, Lost in Movies India correspondent. Now, every time a sci-fi movie or an action thriller or a cult fiction turned to celluloid classic comes out in Hollywood, there's a bunch of us in India who wait with a sort of mixture of dread and delight for the cheap remakes to start pouring out of the factories here. Dread because they're simply awful, and delight because they're hilariously funny. And once you watch the sequences that I have in store for you today, you'll probably understand why flick is used as slang for steal in India. The thing about India is that you have people who are unilingual and only speak the vernacular, so a ripoff of The Matrix is just about as awesome to them as the original was to us in our teens. And then you have people who are bilingual and speak, let's say, English and Hindi, and they mostly find the ripoffs funny. And then there are people who are trilingual and speak English and Hindi in addition to the language of the region they come from, in my case Tamil, and there's a big vernacular film industry in India. And we often witness a situation where a Hindi director steals a film from Hollywood and remakes it without buying the rights. And then a Tamil director watches it and says, oh wow, this looks good, let me remake this one. And then the Hindi directors use the Tamil director for stealing his film, which has in fact been stolen from Hollywood. And if you've seen them all, you'll realize that there's a filter at each level. They often don't have the same budgets, they often don't have the same technicians, and even when they do, in Indian film, the rules of gravity, continuity, aging, and really everything else are largely dispensable. So today I'm going to talk to you about a few superhero/cult fiction classics that have been inspired by Hollywood, and most of the sequences I have for you draw from more than one movie. So well, the more the merrier, I guess. First, there's India's Chuck Norris Rajinikanth, whom you've probably heard of already. Now let's look at a fight sequence that Keanu Reeves might find rather familiar. In 2007, he starred in a film called Shivaji the Boss, where boss stood for Bachelor of Social Service. And the sequence you're watching is the final showdown. But if you are a few years earlier, in 2002, there had been a release called Avara Pagal Deewana in Hindi. And this bizarre sequence that you're watching sort of brings together The Matrix, Mission Impossible, and Face Off. If you look, well, not too closely, but just keep your eyes on the screen, you'll notice that the guns keep changing, even when they're supposed to stay the same. Well, then Rajinikanth went on to outdo himself in 2010 with his release Robot, which I believe is so notorious that a whole lot of articles have been written about that in America. You're going to have fun figuring out how many Hollywood sequences have been pinched each minute of this one. And just so you know, this goes on for 9 minutes. Alright, now did you ever think that E.T. and the Lion King could come together to make a romantic film? Well, a human romance. Now you have the kids and you have the friendly alien, but then in India no film is ever complete unless you have a couple of, a couple will do really. So you have this guy with a learning disability and you have all these children who are the only people whom he can make friends with. And he has a semi-Oedipal sort of romantic relationship with a woman. So can the alien that does a Mufasa cure him of the learning disability? And now the worst part of it is that this film, Koi Mil Gaya, has a sequel called Krish, and they were both massive hits. It wouldn't all be so bad if they didn't come with taglines that are as innocuously alarming as there's a child in every one of us. Sounds rather cannibalistic if you ask me. Alright, and here's the last of the lot I'm going to show you today. Let's say you had 5 hours to live and 4 hours to kill, and for some reason you want them to be the worst of your life. And your last wish is to watch Titanic, The Pirates of the Caribbean, Apocalypto, 10,000 BC, The Mummy, Gladiator, The Ten Commandments, and 300. And you want to watch them all in Tamil? Well, you just sampled it. That interesting amalgam is from the 2009 release Ayiratthil Oruvan. That means 1 in 1,000, but really it's more like 1,001. Well, I'll sign off now, but then I'm going to leave you with a video which I think you'll recognize. I don't know what it means because it's in Telugu, which I don't speak, but then here's what it sounds like.
Okay, and welcome back to America! Yay! So now we're going to move on to our comments, where we asked about least favorite and most favorite vampire movies. Let's see. Mark from North Conway said, they all suck. Get it?
That's me slapper, all right, Mark.
Yes.
Good one.
Meals from North Conway said Nosferatu, the original silent film.
High five to Meals.
Yay! I actually have only seen parts of Nosferatu because I bought it and it was part of like 3 other DVDs, but it was like this terrible like redo version of it where they put like a metal score to the background of it, so it was just like you'd be watching the movie and you just hear and I'm just like, I can't watch this.
Wow. Let's just make it totally off.
Bob from North Conway agrees, Nosferatu, classic. And I'm also partial to cheese like John Carpenter's Vampires and From Dusk Till Dawn.
James Woods and Quentin Tarantino.
Tarantino. I mean,
I just watched From Dusk Till Dawn on my BlackBerry yesterday because I couldn't get my internet to work. So that is devotion, guys. My eyes hurt so bad.
That is commitment. I like From Dusk Till Dawn, and it's kind of
a good one.
And it's kind of 2 different movies because the first half of it, not vampires at all, and
it's like Natural Born Killers meets Pulp Fiction. It's kind of like with Jules and whoever Travolta's character is, and I like it.
And it was Quentin Tarantino, not the world's greatest actor, but he's really good in that. It was kind of George Clooney's first like, oh, wow, George Clooney's kind of kicked butt.
Scary.
Yeah, he can be a badass kind of.
Yeah, it was so that was exciting, and then you have the introduction of the characters, Juliette Lewis and Harvey Keitel as the Reverend, and then you go to the tavern there, and you actually get Salma Hayek as a sexy vampire.
Oh my goodness.
And it's exciting. It's good stuff. I mean, it is cheesy, and it's trying to be kind of like one of those grindhouse movies before Tarantino was really into making the grindhouse movies. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
Movie.
And Jared Carpenter's Vampires isn't great, but James Wood as a vampire hunter, amazing. That's all you need. James Woods hunting vampires with one of the bald ones.
And then his little one-liners he would throw in during the movies.
Yeah. Yep. Derek from Concord said Dracula with Bella, not to be confused with Twilight with Bella. But
no, that Bella's 1L.
That's right. Dracula. That's right. Yeah. Bela Lugosi, he was a pimp.
Bela Lugosi was, I love Lugosi.
Yeah, he was just fantastic.
He kicked some serious booty.
He was Julie.
Julie who?
Julie, your mum. She said,
hi, Mom.
I loved all the Christopher Lee Dracula movies. Scared the crap out of me way back when. I had to walk home in the dark afterwards, too. We would run between the streetlights.
Oh, you was. Now she lives in the middle of Blair Witch Land with sheep.
Yes.
Your mom's adorable.
My sister Elizabeth said tie for Interview with the Vampire and Lost Boys. We'll talk about those more at length later. And the least favorite, is that a real question? Twilight.
I think that it's unanimous.
I don't think, well, we're not going to touch Twilight because that would be an episode all unto itself.
Yeah.
Come November.
We'll see.
I'm not.
Let's see. Jacob from Hamilton, Ohio, a YouTube fan, said Blade the original with Wesley Snipes. Yay! I enjoy the Blade movies.
I do.
I never saw Blade Trinity because I thought I heard it was awful.
I don't like Jessica Biel.
I didn't like the second one. I liked the first and the third.
Del Toro did the second one.
Yeah.
The second one had too much, wrestle moves, CGI into it, though.
I guess, but what I really found interesting,
signature,
what I really found interesting was the whole idea of a vampire autopsy.
That part was pretty awesome.
And that was, because another movie that Guillermo del Toro had done was Mimic, so you had a little bit that kind of exploring of how things evolve, and there was the whole idea of vampires evolving and changing, and you had like the super vampire in that, and so I appreciated that, and I kind of liked that there was this kind of tentative love story between Wesley Snipes and a vampire, and there was a little bit of tragedy there. I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of cheesy.
I enjoyed it.
They're vampires. They're all cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole idea of the Daywalker, with Wesley Snipes being half vampire, half human.
It's interesting.
And then you have, good old...
Stephen Dorff in the first
Stephen
one.
Dorff is amazing.
He did a great job as a villain.
Yeah, he was a fantastic villain. It was I kind of feel bad that Stephen Dorff kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
He was a really great actor early on.
What happened to him?
I don't know. He did a movie with Sofia Coppola. Just recently, it's supposed to be very good.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very good. And then you have Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As Whistler. He's just great.
He's awesome.
So that whole dynamic between them is really nice. And then Charlie from Jackson said, my favorite is one I just saw last night and came to Boston just to see. We Are the Night, a Berlin set Lost Boys. It's pretty sexy and thrilling, though not effective as the LGBT film it was programmed as, which is lesbian, gay, bi, transgender. So I can't really speak to that because I haven't seen it, but it seems interesting. Berlin set Lost Boys, sure, why not?
Sure.
Would make it even more exciting. And I guess on that note, we'll transition into talking about Lost Boys.
All right.
Sounds good.